Fitrah, and all fiqh books mention this, and it deals with cleanliness. Okay, and fitrah, before I get into this, it basically means natural inclination. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has designed us in a specific way, and we naturally know what is right and what is wrong. Okay, if you ask any person, regardless of the religion, if you ask him, brother, or whether a Muslim or a non-Muslim, you ask him, is murder okay? You think hitting somebody is okay? What is he going to say? It's definitely not good. He's going to say, no, it's not permissible, it's not good. I mean, it's natural. You don't need to sit in the masjid and listen to a halaqa to figure out that, okay, Br.Najeeb said murder is haram, so I'm not going to commit any murder. So you don't need this. You know already that few things are wrong. Okay, so all these things, all evils and all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us in such a way that we know that it's wrong. We know it's something that should be avoided. When we talk about cleanliness, when we talk about tahara, there are some things which are part of fitrah, something which we should be doing. And we need to cover this because unfortunately some people do not know the rulings behind it. Some of the hadith are very, very serious, and we should be aware of those things. And I'm gonna discuss those things, inshallah. Now, there is a hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim also, wherein Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned that the fitrah is 5 things, and in another hadith he mentioned there are 10 things that are part of fitrah. So I made the list here, the 6, which concerns the tahara, the cleanliness of a person. Mentioned about cutting nails and shaving of pubic hair and the plucking of armpit hair and circumcision and trimming mustache and growing beard. So I'm going to be discussing briefly about these things, inshallah. But these are the things that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam specifically mentioned that these should be taken care of. It's part of your regular cleanliness. There are other 4 also mentioned in the hadith book, which we already covered, which is washing of the joints and snuffing water into nose and using siwak and so on, which we already covered when we were talking about how to do wudu. So cutting nails, let's start with this one. One of the Sunan AlFitrah, we say. Now, when we say nails, it covers both hands and feet. And does it cover women, cutting of nails? Islamically, yes, women are included. Women are not excluded from this. And obviously, we see in this country that we live in, it's like a big business here. The store name is nails. It's like the whole store is about nails. What they do is they shape the nails and so on. So in Islam, we have specific guidelines, what sisters should be doing and what men should be doing. So there is a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, in fact, he said the time period for us to cut the nails was 40 nights. So this is hadith Abu Dawud. So if you have to cut your nails before 40 days or 40 nights. If you extend those 40 nights, it's a problem. It's going to get into the makruh phase, which is disliked, which is not good, and your prayers could be a problem. It's going to be accepted maybe with dislike to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not good to pray like that. Obviously, the problem with the nails, long nails, is that the long nails will trap the dirt, right? And it's not good clean. It's not from the good cleanliness habits. It's not good hygiene. So, and these characteristics are basically part of animal, like long nails, not cutting nails, and so on. In order to beautify ourselves, we do this. But how do we cut this? From the Sunnah, we always know that we always start with the right side. So right hand first and left hand next. Same thing with the feet. We first start with the right foot and then the left foot. Some scholars were even particular that, okay, start with almost the rightmost, the pinky finger and so on. But regardless, that's the general rule. Anything good you do, you start with your right side. Can we cut at night? Can we cut our nails at night? Is it haram or is it makruh? Or is it permissible? Or is it recommended that you should cut at night? What do you say? The answer is it definitely doesn't matter. There is no hadith at all about this. Okay, and I specifically mentioned this because in some cultures it is considered bad. Okay, it is considered, in fact, they think that something bad is going to happen if you cut nails. So this is not from Islam. We don't follow cultures in Islam. We follow Qur'an and hadith. Anything, if I say it is not good, you have to ask me, where is it coming from? Is it coming from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam or from Qur'an? If I'm not able to say, then you cannot take it. Okay, so that's how we learn Islam. Now, also some people have this habit that they take the nails after cutting them and they say Bismillah 3 times and then they throw them. So again, this is there is no hadith tracing back to this kind of habit. And some people also bury them. You know, they always say you have to bury your nails. So this, again, there is no evidence. However, some people say that, brother, I have been affected by black magic and nails are used in black magic and so on. And probably that might be true. For those cases, you know, people, they should make sure that they throw in a place where the people might not get hold of it. So that's one exception that scholar gives.
The question is there any hadith to cut the nails on a Friday?
There is no hadith.
No hadith.
The general thing about Friday is, you know, you have to clean yourself, okay? You have to take a shower, and, you know, as part of cleanliness, it includes everything, putting perfume and, you know, taking care of your body also. Instead of waiting for 40 days, some people say, okay, let me take care of myself every Jummah. But there is no specific hadith which says you should only do that on a Friday. There is no such thing. But you can choose, it's okay to choose a date and say, okay, I'm going to be using Friday as a day to clean myself. Weekly, obviously, we should be taking care of ourselves regardless. Not wait. 40 days is like for losers. It's like people who are so lazy, they wait till 40 days. But good Muslims, good etiquette is you do it every week or so on. Okay. Now, what about false nails? Can we use false nails? Is it part of our cleanliness? Well, the scholars basically mentioned that false nails is not permissible. It's not allowed, and they mentioned it has the same problem as the real nails, which it causes dirt, and you are going to use the same hand, same nails to do things, or maybe eat, and it's going to be a problem. And basically, they're saying that these qualities are part of the characteristic of animals, right? You should be staying away from it, okay? And for sisters specifically, they think that having long nails is, you know, part of beauty and so on. So you have to choose. You know, first of all, it's not what you think it is. It is not beauty. You know, some people just make it up in the society and it becomes a norm. You know, wearing certain type of clothing, they think it is style. It looks beautiful. People look beautiful, but, you know, it's just because society perceives that way. It's not the reality. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam specifically mentioned that if you want to be beautiful, these are the things that you have to do. These are the steps of cleanliness. So, you know, you have to consider your general hygiene as well, what is good and what is bad. And the hadith of Sunan AlFitrah, it also mentions about cleaning yourself, cutting your hair from the private parts. Okay, this is something especially I know when I was a teenager, so many friends I had, they were not at all aware of this. They were like, nobody told us. And they were offering their prayers, they were, you know, doing everything, and after they probably came out of their teens, when they started reading books, and then they realized, oops, I didn't do this all these years. So this is, again, especially if you're a teenager, is something, if you have friends, you need to discuss these things. And we mentioned many times that in our religion, there is no shame. In fact, that when we mentioned all the hadith wherein that Jew was trying to embarrass Salman al-Farsi, radiallahu anhu, he was not ashamed of it. He told, your prophet teaches you even how to defecate. So he was proud, and he was saying that yes, our Prophet teaches us, because this is the only religion that goes into all these details. So that is the reason. Doesn't matter what age group you are, you have to learn these things. Somebody has to learn this, and this is very basic knowledge that we are covering, not a scholarly level knowledge. But regardless, the same hadith of Anas radiallahu anhu in Abu Dawud, he mentioned about cutting the hair, the pubic hair. He said the cutting of pubic hairs was 40 nights. Again, the same thing, same restriction. But again, as I said, you try to take you examine your body every week and get your cleanliness in those areas. Now, the hadith mentions cutting. Obviously, it includes everything in whatever form, like shaving. You can use. Some people ask questions to scholars about waxing, and they said it's permitted. And even some people ask about permanent hair removal. The scholars did talk about this, and they mentioned that it is permissible as long as it does not cause harm to the body. Okay. And same thing, same etiquettes as in others. You start with the right side on this one as well. And I was shocked to hear that in some cultures, especially when a bride is, on her day, she gets married, she goes to a place to have someone beautify her, right? And part of it is that she has her hair shaved by another woman. So this is kind of very disgusting. This is straightforward violating the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in Sahih Muslim. He said, no man should look at the aura of another man, and no woman should look at the aura of another woman, period. There is no exceptions here, except for one that the scholars mentioned, that if you have a medical problem, right? Sometimes it happens, surgery, or if you have a angioplastic or any heart surgery, anything, that take the vein and they require you to have that area shaved. So there are specific nurses that take care of that. But regardless, if that is the case, the scholars did mention that you have to ask for the same gender. Okay, you can ask that in the hospitals here. You can ask for the same gender to remove it. But otherwise, if you have no other excuse, it is not permissible to go to others for the removal. And the armpit hair is also included in the hadith as well. Same 40 days restriction. And hadith mentions plucking. So plucking is different from shaving, right? So some scholars said plucking is better than shaving, but both are permitted. And same thing, we start with the right side, general etiquettes. Now, can we remove the hair on the legs? These questions are mostly asked in fatwas by women, by sisters. And the scholars that I studied with, they mentioned that it is permissible. There is no hadith which prohibits it. However, the serious thing that in today's society is this plucking of eyebrows. This is pretty much unanimous consensus among scholars that this plucking of the eyebrows, shaping of eyebrows, this is haram. This is not permissible either for men nor for women. Women in general, women in particular, this is the toughest thing for them living in the society. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam specifically mentioned in the hadith that this comes under one of those things on which Allah's curse is there. He mentioned 4 or 5 things. He mentioned about tattooing. He mentioned about plucking the eyebrows and filing their teeth to make gaps for beauty and so on. We'll cover these hadith later on. But that's the ruling, that you cannot pluck your eyebrows. But all other, you want to shave your legs or hands or and so on, whatever it is, you can do that. What about shaving the head? Can women shave the head? There is another hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prohibiting women only to shave the head. Obviously, for men it is permissible, especially those who go for Hajj and Umrah. This is what they should be doing, shaving the head. But for women, it is forbidden. They cannot do that. Same thing for hair extensions also, the ruling. We're going to cover these later on. This is not specifically part of fiqh al-tahara, but hair extension is also something which is not permitted. Okay, let's talk about something which I was thinking not to put, but I think I should discuss this. One of the we mentioned Sunan AlFitrah was the beard and the mustache. Some people did tell me that don't discuss beard in halaqa, people will stop coming to your halaqa. But maybe that's true, but I only fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. He is going to catch me that I taught you this knowledge. Why did you hide it from people? So the definition of beard itself, the scholars mentioned that it is the hair that is in level with the channel of the ear, so that covers like your cheekbone and chin. So that this is the area of beard. And obviously we're talking about men here. Now, I don't want to get into the details of whether throat is included or the hair below the eyes and so on. So the problem is many people consider beard to be the channel between the ears. So this is the region. And before I get into the actual rulings, let me quote you the hadith directly from Sahih al-Bukhari. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned that, be different from the mushrikeen, let your beards grow and trim your mustache. So this is a hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari, and there is no doubt about authenticity on this one. Now, whenever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says something, it becomes a command. He says, grow your beard, it becomes a command, unless there is another hadith which relaxes the rule. But for beards, we always see it as a form of command. So that's why, let me go ahead and tell you that all four madhabs, Hanafi, Shafi, Hanbali, Maliki, all of them were unanimous on this. There is no difference of opinion among those madhahib that they all said that it is obligatory, it is compulsory, you have to keep it. Now there are differences of opinion that comes when it comes to what length it should be, and we can trim it or not, and what's the best beard that you can keep, what is the closest to the beard of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So all these things that they discussed. In some cultures, especially in subcontinent, this is a famous saying that beard is a sunnah. Beard is a sunnah. So that is correct. Beard is a sunnah, but a sunnah thing, what it means is that anything that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do, that is sunnah. Okay, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to pray. That is also sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But some prayers are obligatory, some are sunnah, and some are voluntary, right? So sunnah means practice. Practice is called sunnah. Now some people take it and consider it, give the same meaning as mustahab. Mustahab means something recommended, not obligatory. So beard is unanimous consensus that it is obligatory. It is not on the level of recommended. It is higher than that. It is compulsory. You have to keep it. When I was learning this topic with Sheikh Yasir Qadi, he mentioned like 9 opinions of all the different scholars, mainly talking about how they differ. But all of these opinions comes down to the same point, that it is obligatory. The only exception that I see is the scholars, the teachers in Al-Azhar University. They are the ones who said that it is not obligatory. They said it is good that you keep, but it is not sinful to not keep. And that's why you see many Egyptian people who lead Taraweeh prayers, and we get all those scholars and their qaris, they have clean shaved. So because they follow that opinion, but that is like a very, very minority opinion. And if you want to really follow majority, what the Imam Hanafi, Abu Hanifa, Shafi, and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal and Imam Malik rahmatullah, what they all said, they were unanimous on this, that this should be kept. It is compulsory to keep. Now, what is the recommended? What is the best beard that you can keep? So the scholars mentioned about this, and the little bit of difference of opinion, but most of them they said that you should have a fistful beard. This is like the closest to the sunnah. So how much ever comes in your hand, that is fistful. Now, what is the minimum? What is the minimum that you can have? Well, is like some people keep a pencil-sized beard, right? You see that, right? Is it considered beard even? So, Yasir Qadi had this whole pictures there. He put like pictures of all different beards, and he mentioned which one is okay, which one is not. But the pencil-sized beard is not a beard. Okay, if your beard looks, if you ask somebody, is that a bearded person? He should say, oh yeah, he is a bearded person. So you should have like a beard, not like a half-shave kind of beard and so on. So a minimum size, scholars differed. The strongest opinion, Sheikh Yasir Qadi mentioned that it is permissible to trim, but obviously the best thing is to keep fistful. But it should be as much to the extent that it is called beard. It should be beard. You should have some hair. So that's how they said that's the minimum. And what's the maximum length? Sharia did not dictate the maximum length. It was quiet on this, so you can have whatever max length. But the recommended is at least that you should have fistful. Okay. Next one is the mustache itself. So same hadith mentions that mustache is something that you should trim. In another hadith in At-Tirmidhi, it's a Sahih hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned that whoever does not trim anything from his mustache is not one of us. So this is like a straightforward. He's saying that you have to trim mustache. But now, what is the meaning of trimming mustache? Should it be completely shaven, or should it be a little bit there, or what's the ruling on this one? So the scholars mentioned that it shouldn't be that long or that heavy that it starts coming into your mouth or your lips. So this is too much. So you should trim it. Shaving is also permissible. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah and also Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, they said shaving is better, but some scholars were very clear that no, trimming is better. But anyways, shaving or trimming both are permissible, but it should be trimmed. And this is not the 40-day limit category. Okay, so you have to do it more often than that. So that's the hadith regarding all those things. And one thing about gray hair in the beard or anywhere, can we pluck it off? Or it doesn't matter whether it's sister or brother. Is there any hadith about it? Can we pluck the hair? Gray hair, if you see, people will say, I am getting old, so I want to take it out. So is it okay? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that, this is recorded in Hadith Abu Dawud, he said, do not pluck the gray hairs as they are a Muslim's light. Never a Muslim grows gray in Islam except that Allah writes for him due to that a good deed, and He raises him a degree and erases for him due to that one of his sins. So consider this as a light for you on the day of resurrection. Okay. Can we dye the hair? Yes, you can dye the hair. You should use a non-black color. You can use a henna, or you can use any yellow dye that's permissible. Okay. We will cover about hair in general when we talk about fiqh of clothing and so on. But we're specifically talking about the tahara, so it's not strictly part of fiqh of tahara. But these are the things. Now there's one more topic, which is the circumcision. I think I'll explore this topic more when we talk about the fiqh of newborns, right? Of fiqh of marriage, and after that fiqh of newborns. What are the things that we should take care of when a child is born? So that's like another halaqa topic sometime later. But this is again, circumcision is something which needs to be done. It's part of fitrah. Who was the first person ever to do circumcision? Who can tell me? First person. Who was it? Ibrahim alayhi salam. Very good. What was his age when he did circumcision? 80 is correct, yeah. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded him to do circumcision, he ran and he took an axe and he circumcised himself. And the scholars mentioned that it was very painful for him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Ibrahim alayhi salam, you rushed before we told you which tool to use to get circumcised. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, he said, "Oh Lord, I did not want to delay obeying your command, so I rushed to do that." So this is how the prophets were, and this is the reason why they reached the level they reached. They're just very quick in everything. So anyways, we inshallah will cover this, another act of cleanliness whenever we get there. But this is again especially for non-Muslims who become Muslims, who convert to Islam. This is something you have to be careful. Don't be like on the first day, "Oh brother, you became Muslim, now we'll take you to circumcision center." This is not something you do. You try to invite people to Islam in a nice way. Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen rahmatullah alayhi, he specifically mentioned this, that the validity of one's Islam is not dependent on the performance of circumcision. Okay. And in this country, in Christian faith, it's common practice also to get circumcised. So, but it's better that a person gets circumcised, a convert, whenever he becomes strong in his deen, in his iman. That's when he should do it. Just remember, Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was at the age of 80 and he did it. So, and he also mentioned that if delaying this serves some interest, like putting him off of Islam, because Islam has not completely entered his heart, then it is okay. This was a fatwa from Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen rahmatullah alayh. So, and if you have a newborn, it's recommended that you do circumcision very soon, especially because when you're born, the body is like numb at that time, and it's very easy for the baby to bear the pain. Then when he grows older, and after they become an adult, it becomes obligatory at that very point. And if you don't get circumcised, what's going to happen? Why do we need to get circumcised in the first place? The reason is, because the foreskin that's there, the urine can get trapped in there, and that's when you pray with the same, position, or even if you make wudu, even if you go to bathroom and clean yourself, the remnants will be there. And it's not only unclean, and the problem is it causes cancer. And even after getting married, it's very common research that's published that it causes cervical cancer in women because of uncircumcised men. It's a common report that everybody knows that, and they see a very, very low incidence of the cervical cancer because of intimacy from circumcised men.